Hey y'all, what's up, what's good? It's your girl Michaela Janae here, back with another video. And as you can see, your girl did her hair. I have a new hairdo going on. If you guys would like a video on this hairdo, let me know in the comments down below, because next time I do it I can definitely record it for you. You guys know my hair is still short, so it took a little bit of work to get it like this. Okay, today we'll be talking a little bit about morning routines and this Dollar Tree find that I stumbled upon that has just upgraded and leveled up my morning routine. Okay, so let's just hop right into it. This video should not be super long, but you know me, I be chatting. As always, follow me on Instagram. You can always leave me a comment if there's anything specific you'd like me to talk about. I read all the comments. I have been working a lot, so if I have not done your video request yet, please forgive me, because I am trying to get to the video request that I have seen in the comments down below. But don't be afraid to leave me a comment. I reply to everyone. When it comes to being a Christian and or following God, it's so important to give God our first, okay? Even when it comes to tithing, we give him the first 10% of our check, which I do have a video on tithing. I personally do tithe. I give the money, my 10% of everything I make, to a church, and what the church does with it is their business, but I do my job as a Christian and as God's child as giving him the first fruits of my labor, and I have seen that work in my life. Once I started tithing, which this video is not about that, but I can go on and on about tithing, because once I started to give him my first, then the way I looked at finances changed and my financial situation changed. More money was introduced into my world and everything, and it was really a blessing once I started tithing. So for everyone who, you know, thinks of it as like, oh, I don't know what they're doing with that money, it's important to give God what belongs to him. The money is not yours anyway. So once you give it to these people, the church, the organization, it's their business and it's on their conscience what they do with it. You've done your part. So that's the way I look at tithing, and I've seen great results based off it. So basically, we give him the first of our money. We should also give him the first of our time. So when it comes to our morning routine, so many of us just wake up and we reach for our phone. Okay, so many of us do it. We reach for our phone, we check our messages. Sometimes our phone doesn't even go off at night, which I feel like everyone's phone should go off at some point. It just shouldn't be in the bed with you. I know there's emergencies and not everyone has a home phone, but at some point you have to turn that access off unless it's an emergency. Don't just be scrolling on your social medias all hours of the night, because just as it's important to give him our first, it's important to give him our last. One thing I've changed recently in my life, I think I disclosed this before, is that once I come into my room at night, I turn the phone off, because I just want to be, you know, present. I just need to close that part of my life off, and once I'm in the room, it's time for bed and I'm just watching TV and doing other stuff like that. Okay, but in the mornings also, I do not step out of bed until I pray, say, Lord, I thank you for waking me up this morning. It doesn't take a lot. A lot of people feel that prayers have to be elaborate, especially when they get around people. But God isn't asking for you to be a Bible scholar. God just wants you to speak to him and acknowledge him first. So it just has to be, Lord, thank you for waking me up this morning. Thank you for blessing me. That's it. That's all he wants. And you'll just see a shift and a change in your day with how you approach your day. What you give to the world is what you get back. So if you go into it with positive thinking and positive affirmations in the morning, that will really shape and mold your day. So a while back, I posted prayers on the side of my bed. I'm literally looking at it. You know, sometimes when you have a bed, you have a nightstand, and on the side of my nightstand, that's the first thing I look at in the morning. So I have different scriptures right there. The minute I look over, I just read those scriptures. Another thing I have on the side of my nightstand when I roll over is the full armor of God. And the full armor of God is the belt of truth, the shoes of peace, the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the shield of the truth, and the sword of the spirit. I had to bend over to read them. And that's just me getting dressed before I even get dressed. In the world around us, there is spiritual warfare going on. There's so many battles being fought that we don't even know about. Some of them we can see, some of them we can't see, but it's important to put on our armor and protect ourselves. So like I said, getting dressed before we even get dressed. I never want you to feel like the way I do things is the only way to do things, because that is definitely not true. There there is so many different ways that you can mold your morning routine with God to make it work for you and your lifestyle, but this is what I do. I know a lot of people, when they get up, the first thing they do is play an inspirational video off of YouTube, you know, a quick little sermon, one of those little 5-minute videos, and that's great also. You know, as long as you're adding him in there, when you wake up, the first thing you don't have to think about is, OMG, I know my rent is due. Like, oh wow, I already know the kids are about to swarm in here. Whatever it is, it's so important to kind of start to push those thoughts aside and bring your focus straight to him first. So I said all that to say, once I roll over, you know, I read that now I added in these prayer cards to my morning routine. And the more elaborate your morning routine with Jesus becomes, the more you mature in your faith. So I was like, let me just step it up a notch, because as you go about, you're like, okay, I need a little bit more in the mornings to prepare me. The more you grow in spirituality, things don't get easier. Let me just tell you that right now. Disclaimer, it doesn't get easier. But you get stronger to handle the things, and you learn how to go to him for every little thing. So I wanted to step it up, and recently I was in Dollar Tree, because the Dollar Tree is my store, okay? They be having what I be needing sometimes, okay? I was so happy to find these bad boys. It includes 20 prayer and scripture cards, okay? And they had like 2 different kinds like this. And it's just so nice. It's inspirational prayer and scripture cards for yourself and for others. Originally, I was going to get these cards and I was going to give it away as a gift. I prayed about it, and God was just like, keep them for yourself. And once I kept them for myself, they sat on the shelf for the longest time in my room. And I was like, you know what? I can add this into my morning routine. So what I do, like I said, once I get out of bed, I read that, say, Lord, thank you for waking me up, full armor of God. I walk over to my dresser when I'm getting my clothes, and I have the cards sitting there, and I basically just flip over a card. So when I flip over a card, I read the scripture. So each card has a scripture on it, and I know a lot of us are not into reading the Bible. That's why I feel like these cards are so awesome, because these are 20 scriptures that you can keep reading until you memorize them, and it'll be kind of your way of getting in that Bible daily. To me, it's so important to read scripture daily to where you're gaining that knowledge. So this one right here says, he will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. Deuteronomy 31:8. So these cards are just filled with 20 different scriptures that you can learn, and you can just keep shuffling them and switching them up. I just flip it over, and in the morning I keep it on there all day. I look at it again before I go to bed, and then I put it to the back of the deck. And it's something really simple that you can just add into your day. Like, I feel like there's so many of the people I see on social media and the people that I follow who's really hurting, and I just see sadness on them. You have control in your life. There's certain things to where you can immediately change how you view life and what happens to you. If there are small things you can add into your routine to bring you joy, or just try it out, it doesn't hurt to try. Okay, my mom, she recently told me that she heard on one of the sermons, the preacher was like, okay, I'm wrong about God, and I lived my whole life trying to do right and trying to find some happiness and peace, then I'll be okay because I still lived a good life. But if you're wrong about God and you did exactly what you wanted to do, and you lived a hard life basically for nothing, so it doesn't really hurt to try out God. Not trying out a religion, not trying out, you know, several different churches. Just try him out first. Give him a chance and see if your life will change. And people always be like, I'm talking to him, I'm talking to God. You know, God would never ignore you. If you seek him, he will disclose himself to you, and that's just something very important to remember. So like I said, Dollar Tree didn't ask me to make this video. I made this video because I feel like it can be helpful for some of y'all. These are really simple things, simple scriptures that can be easily memorized and that can change your morning routine with God. So I hope this video was helpful in some way. I hope all of you find these prayer cards in your local Dollar Tree. That would be really nice if you could get these. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, leave it down below. I will be hollering at y'all in my next video.